Rock and roll. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to House is Fake. It's me, TJ, joined by Miggy. I'm in the bedroom
Yo.
because the move continues, but it is what it is. Big weekend for pro wrestling, especially WWE, who we have been not very.
Nah.
We've been critical of them a lot lately, but I feel like the last couple days they've really given
Because
us
we're
something that we wanted.
we're WWE industry plants, according to the person who came onto our TikTok. Since with our 400 TikTok followers,
Dude,
we're industry plants.
that's all you, buddy. The 400, we're at 399. That's all you, man. I hear a ghost or something.
Oh shit. Hold on. You hear this?
No, what happened?
Baby, come look at this. This is what happens when it rains in Arizona. Everybody has to run right to the rain into the dark.
That there is called a monsoon, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
This is a
Wow, look at that.
monsoon live here on the How Is This Fake podcast. A full
Dude,
monsoon of Arizona.
the way that you look at that.
That's crazy. Okay.
That's a lot.
Sorry. I ran out in the dark, woke up, Miss Miggy,
She's
and we're
like,
back.
I've fucking seen a monsoon before. I don't care.
Dude.
The way you were pointing up, I thought maybe there was someone in your attic or something.
I thought no, so I I thought there was water in my attic because of how I thought that there was water coming through the ceiling or something because of the way that the rain was so loud.
Damn. Well, I hope there's no water in your attic, but I guess
I
you'll
hope
find
there's
out
no
pretty
water in
soon.
there.
But yeah, so big weekend for WWE, big weekend for I'll say TNA, but mostly I think the Dudleys and the Hardys. Mike Santana, your new Impact champion or
Yeah.
TNA champion. So lots of
Listen,
stuff.
that was a great show overall though. Really was.
Biggest crowd they've ever had. Uh, you had Elias coming out, taking the moment away from Nick Nemeth, or Elijah, whatever he's called. Just call him Eli for short. But
Eli.
yeah, big show for TNA. How did you feel watching the the end of the Dudleys and the Hardys?
I cried a little bit. And then
Just a
I
little
went to
bit.
work today and told everybody that was a wrestling fan when they were kids that they needed to go and watch this match. And then well, you hit the nail right on the head there, buddy, where now I'm thinking not only was Edge not involved in John Cena's retirement, he also wasn't involved in the Dudley's retirement. But I honestly think it hurts more. The Cena retirement thing hurts more than the Dudleys because really the Dudleys and the Hardys had such a crazy, not to say that Edge and Christian and the Dudleys didn't have an insane past, but really it all started with the Dudleys and the Hardys. And Edge and
Well, and
Christian were just kind of there.
right. And we've talked about before how Edge and Christian were actually a tag team nearly as long as the other two teams were.
No.
And if that match at WrestleMania 17 didn't take place, I don't think we'd even be thinking about it.
No,
But that
and
match was just so legendary that they're like synonymous with each other forever now.
that's what it is. And Edge in itself, one, and I'm not just saying this because I, am the biggest Edge head that there is. Um, Arguably had a much larger singles career than any of the other people involved in those matches combined. I would rate, if I was rating singles careers out of those six men, it would go Edge, Jeff Hardy, Bully Ray, Matt Hardy, Christian Matt Hardy, and then Devon Dudley. Just as far as and that's simply because Matt and Devon did not win. Well, I mean, I guess they
They,
did win world champ.
but they
Well,
weren't. No, but it's you're right because what Jeff Hardy is like. I'm gonna say something super blunt here, and I don't mean it in any kind of negative way. But Jeff Hardy is like the white Rey Mysterio, like always babyface. Everyone loves him. He's the high flyer. But that's the
he
difference
walks around, he's
between,
like, "Booyaka, dude."
you know, I yeah, the Matt had, he had the cruiserweight title. He probably won the United States. Well, he was ECW champion for what that's worth. But he was cruiserweight champ. He might have been US or Intercontinental champ. Uh, but Jeff Hardy got the big one, and then Edge. I mean, he's more known for his singles run than I think anything else. But
Yeah, I mean, well,
while you were
Christian
go
had the
ahead.
ECW championship too. Well, Christian, Matt, Jeff, Bully Ray all had the TNA championship also.
Well, and I will say this about Matt Hardy because we don't really see it anymore, and it's not as important today as it was when it was happening. But Broken Matt Hardy was like the superstar of the year. Whatever year that was, Broken Matt Hardy was like the most over wrestler almost in
Oh,
all of wrestling.
easily.
And I mean, when he debuted in AEW, he was broken or woken or what? No, was woken in WWE or was that
Woken
AEW?
was in WWE.
So, but I
And
do because we were.
WWE really, really dropped the ball by not letting Matt Hardy just go.
Well, I mean, insert name here, drop the ball. But let me ask
Yeah,
you
but I,
this,
I
because
honestly think that might be one of the biggest creative mistakes that WWE has ever made.
we mentioned a couple of these, out of these six guys, we're talking about their singles runs. What do you think a one-on-one story would have looked like between Edge and Bully Ray?
It would have been boring.
You think so?
I
Really?
do.
Why?
Well, I don't. Well, let me just say that I don't think it would have been boring. That's the wrong way to put it. I just think that unless it took place, it couldn't have taken place at WWE.
Well, was there ever an
I think
opportunity for it to happen? Bully was gone
no,
when Edge was on a
no,
singles run.
there never was a an opportunity to make that happen. Really, another missed opportunity is WWE not handing Bully Ray the a pencil and saying, "Go, we trust you," because that man, creative genius in professional wrestling.
Aces and
Uh,
eights.
what?
Aces and eights.
Yeah, well, just in anything that I mean, if they give that guy the pencil and they said, you know what, go make magic, he could turn a pencil into a magic wand and then pull a rabbit out of a hat and say, "I just rocked your world." I don't know, but overall,
The way Bully comes off on camera, like during the matches and his promos and stuff, he gets the sports entertainment part of everything
exactly.
more than I don't want to say more than the rest of these guys and all these tag teams, but like when you watch like a Roman Reigns match, like let's think peak Bloodline. You're it, People started calling it cinema because it was more than a match. You were watching like this character go through stuff in the middle of the match, and I think Bully does that. I don't think I've ever seen Edge do something like that. I could be wrong. You're the Edge head, but Bully, especially like in the at the end of that match when Devon's out on the ramp and they're about to put Bully through the table, and they just have to take the moment. They throw the chairs on the side. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if that was all Bully Ray.
No.
who came up with that.
And I honestly wouldn't be shocked if it wasn't the Dudleys who asked for this match and say, "Hey, can we put this together? We want to have our last match and there's nobody we want to have this match against except for the Hardys."
Here's a question for you. Hardy's won um they're the TNA champs. They also won the House of Glory championships,
Hmm. Oh, and the NXT champs.
and they're the NXT champs. Um, which belt are they holding on to the longest? NXT championship?
Hmm.
I would hate to see them, be done with Impact and WWE, but still have those hog titles and then have to go work two or three indie shows to just get it off of them. Um,
I think they hold
but
those the least.
here's hoping. I hope they can keep those NXT titles last, retire with them, go into the Hall of Fame like you've mentioned. Uh,
But I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know who in NXT I'd want to beat the Hardys for the championships there. I don't think there's any other. Well, the tag team that I would want to beat the Hardys is not technically an NXT tag team. That's the problem.
oh, well, who is it?
It's DIY.
Well, I was just gonna ask you. You think you could get some main roster guys to just go to NXT?
No, but I at the same time I don't know. Like looking at the NXT roster, I mean they did. Let's see, NXT roster. Looking at the NXT roster, there's not a single tag team that comes to mind that off the top of my head I'd want to win those titles. I
Interesting.
mean, I would say you could do, the Radicals, but they're a TNA tag team, and you just got rid of Wesley, so he's going back over there. Dark State should not should not have had the titles. Um, you could have did something with Ridge Holland. I mean, a threat, but they just fired Ridge Holland today. Um, so
Best of
really,
luck.
I don't know. Hank and Tank, maybe. I don't think there's a real big tag team division that would be able to keep up with the name of the Hardys in NXT. I think that it was strictly the tag titles on the Hardys was strictly to say, oh, the Hardys are our champions in WWE.
All right. Well, let's move on to WWE. Starting off with what you said was a match of the year contender for you. I was honestly so I just caught the highlights of it because I'm still boycotting ESPN. I'm standing on that hill. I cannot give the regime any more of my
At
money. I'm
least you
giving
get a
them free
VPN,
podcast
dude.
shit. I know I do need to get a
I'm gonna get it.
VPN.
We're gonna get NordVPN. I think Lexi really wants one anyway. So
Oh, okay. Let me know if they have a combo deal.
yeah,
But so when you said match of the year, and I'm looking at the highlights and just thinking about the emotions of John Cena and AJ Styles and everything that happened in that match, I can't think of another match this year that why not? Why not have that be match of the year?
yeah.
What was your favorite part about the match?
Um. Well, I mean, it really wasn't even the match in itself. It was really just how the match made me feel. I liked the start of it, with John Cena, showing the respect to AJ Styles, and then you just had the spot fest. Really, is what it was. Is just them
Yeah,
hitting you know all of these different. Oh, did you lose me?
I can hear you, but you froze a
Okay.
little bit. You'll bounce
Um.
back, I'm sure.
Yeah, them losing all of the, or you losing, using all of the different moves of their former opponents. I mean, really, that was the best part of it all.
One thing that it was a little pet peeve, and I totally get why they did it, and I was not expecting anything different. they WWE, especially on social media, highlighted all of the callbacks that John Cena did,
Yeah.
but they did not acknowledge all the callbacks AJ was doing. Unless you went to TikTok or whatever and someone showed you on their own, WWE wasn't going to be like, "Oh, he just did a stinger splash. Oh, he just that's Frankie Kazarian's move. That's Samoa Joe's thing." I could be wrong because, like I said, I didn't watch the actual match, so I didn't hear the commentary. But on social media, at least, I haven't seen anything directly from WWE saying, "Look at all the homages that were paid to AJ
No, and
Styles'
there hasn't
biggest
been.
rivals."
No, and there wasn't. They mentioned, oh, he hit the fallen angel. Oh, you had, they didn't even mention Chris Jericho. They said, oh, we know that move.
I did hear Cole say "Walls of Jericho," and I was that was a little bit like,
Oh, I don't think
huh.
did you hear it? Because I missed that
I
then.
I yeah, when I was watching the highlights on YouTube, Cole did say "Walls of Jericho," but it was very that was the only Jericho reference. I think
And really, John
was it
Cena and
was it
Chris
Corey
Jericho, I don't
Grave
think they
or
even had that good of a memorable of a feud. So I don't know.
no, was not memorable because as I was watching it, I was trying to think of when did I see these two guys have a match. But whoever else is doing commentary with Cole did say breaking down the walls or something like
Yeah,
that. Um, but man, it makes me think. You mentioned earlier about how you think it's a no-brainer that Seth is going to be John Cena's last opponent.
yeah,
I
but
think
I don't
after
know
what
anymore
happened on
after
Raw,
tonight. Yeah.
yeah, after what happened on Raw, and then I guess there's I saw something that he might have hurt his shoulder, Seth.
Hmm.
So maybe it will be Gunther. I don't know.
Yeah, I think now it goes Dominic Mysterio because the Dominic Mysterio was also today throwing around and I just filmed my Raw reaction video for our TikToks. I just haven't put it up there yet. But I think that yeah, it goes Dominic Mysterio because he's throwing around the greatest of all time now too, and then ends up with Gunther taking the Intercontinental Championship back from John Cena in his last match.
So you
Um,
think Cena beats Dom for the IC title
yep,
and then just loses it right away?
yep,
Dude. Beating Dom in San Diego in his hometown, Survivor Series?
yep.
I don't think I'm mad at that.
Um, but I don't know. I kind of want it to be Braun Breaker now. I mean that Raw sucked with the exception of the Dominic Mysterio and Penta match. And then man, when I was, I was just listening to Monday Night Raw. I had it just on in my headphones, and when I heard the crowd go crazy, I went back and I looked up at what happened. And I was like, oh my god, I was not expecting that. I literally was about to just close out the Netflix app because I'm like, okay, Raw's over. They're standing tall. Yada yada yada. Man, am I glad that I waited that extra 2 seconds because
Yeah.
I have no idea where W. I hope that they don't. I have no idea where WWE is going to go with this.
Can you maybe instead of where they're going, can you help the listeners and me better understand why Braun turned on Seth?
Because Seth Rollins was going on the whole entire night how he's the greatest of all time and he didn't need any help to do it ever.
He did make that point that Roman always needed the bloodline, Cody needed
Yeah,
help to finish the story.
but um, Seth Rollins, and this has bothered me since WrestleMania. Seth Rollins does not need Paul Heyman. Every
No,
person that Paul Heyman has ever been put with the exception of CM Punk, which I think that they just did to try to keep CM Punk happy because he was on his way out anyway. Um, has needed Paul Heyman as a mouthpiece. Bronson
Brock.
Reed and Braun Breaker need Paul Heyman. It's not the other way around. Paul Heyman did not need to be with them. Seth Rollins did not need to be with them. Um, and you look at these guys, you look at Roman Reigns, who was, arguably still the biggest star. Paul Heyman accelerated his career. You look at Brock Lesnar. There is no that Brock Lesnar without Paul Heyman is no different than without Paul Heyman would have been no different than a Nathan Jones at the time, in my opinion.
Oh wow.
I another big guy that was in WWE and then was gone because he had all the athletic ability but no personality.
Yeah, Brock. I remember when Brock came back and was doing that babyface run, and he was dancing and had the cowboy hat back on and stuff a couple of years ago. That was really the first time people were like, "Hey, he can talk on the mic on his own," and he's doing a pretty kick-ass job of it, you know. But like you said, yeah, Lesnar without Heyman is like peanut butter without jelly.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I'm curious to know what our listeners would think about. Would Brock Lesnar be just another big beefy guy without Paul Heyman?
Yeah, I mean, look at that roster at that time. Let's WWE big guys in 2002.
Deacon Batista.
Yeah, you had the Deacon. Yeah, it's true though. You had the Deacon Batista. You had Luther Reigns. You had
Big Show.
the big guys in the FBI. You had Chuck Palumbo, another big guy. You had
Yeah, Undertaker.
Undertaker. Luther Reigns was another big guy. What's it called? His greatest thing was being part of that movie, The Girl Next Door. Yeah, but you had guys like, even Test. Test was, sadly more at the end of his career. Not by any means of, just because that's what fate had it. But other than that, I mean, he would have just, he was in a roster of huge guys, and I wasn't even naming big guys. I mean, you still had the Big Show. You had Kevin Nash there at that time. You had Kane. You had Triple H was a very large man.
Dude, even
So
John Cena and
yeah,
Batista, I mean, they who was it? Oh man, there was a clip going around and they basically asked who's the strongest person they'd ever wrestled with, and it was John Cena, hands down. It might have been Mark Henry that said it because they were just talking about the way that Cena lifted him up. It was like nothing. They could just tell how strong he was. But oh man, yeah, that's interesting. Do you think we see Brock at all try to I don't know. We
well,
saw him with
even
Cena.
well, looking at Matt Morgan was another one. That the Blueprint, Matt Morgan, TNA legend, not did not do well in WWE because he didn't have a personality there. Albert
Forget how many.
Albert trains the WWE wrestlers. Very big guy, no personality.
It is insane. We're just listing off all these, physically large dudes.
Mm-hmm.
How I don't want to say the difference because there's always big guys and there's always small guys, but just understanding how much Vince liked the big guys.
Yeah, but even if you look at the career, you look in the last 5 years of big guys who just were not successful in WWE because they didn't have a personality. Rich Holland, they got rid of him today. Almost, super nice guy, has all the personality in the world, not in his character. Gone. Bobby Lashley, big guy, gone. Lars Sullivan, thought that they were going to strap the future and the rocket on that guy's back. Gone.
Well, there's some extracurriculars
Well,
involved.
exactly, but still, I mean, that really did Vince McMahon care about those extracurriculars? No, that guy would have been a WWE champion
I
if he
want
would
to.
have shown.
I think I want in on that.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
this guy's going to be my new best friend.
he knows something I don't know.
Yeah, could teach me a thing or two.
Shit on her face.
Jeez.
I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out. It's in legal government court finding. I didn't do
Yeah,
anything.
no, that's you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Um, yeah, I listen, I don't think I think that it's crazy. And I think that it's even crazy to have put Seth Rollins with those guys to begin with. I think WrestleMania should have ended with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker just taking out all three guys at the end and standing tall, and we had a whole year of Braun building up Braun Breaker to this incredible WrestleMania win that he's gonna have this year.
You know,
I would say that Braun Breaker is the number one pick to win the Royal Rumble in the main event WrestleMania this year.
yeah, I think when I was, they talk about how Braun Breaker is the future so often, and at some point you gotta. And I've talked about it before how Triple H books these storylines and they take for fucking ever.
Mm-hmm.
At some point you got to pull the trigger on the future, and I'm glad that they did it in time for Royal Rumble, going into WrestleMania. I will say this though, because I think Braun Breaker is the future, and he is the next face of the company. Once guys like Cody and Seth and Roman kind of start winding down, um, where does that leave Bronson Reed? Because the way that they're being given to us is that not that they're equals, but that they are equally capable of doing some real damage in the ring. So does this lead to a Braun versus Braun? Do we get like a Randy Orton Cena kind of thing where they're just kind of on the road together, both winning championships, making a name for themselves?
I think Bronson Reed gets left in the dust, unfortunately. I know he did just re-sign with the WWE, but
They're
so
gonna
did
make him the
Braun.
next El Grande.
So did Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman literally has his own TV show coming out attached to the WWE, but does not work for the WWE anymore. And we honestly forgot about Braun Strowman when we were talking, naming big men that were easily forgettable that could have had the rocket strapped to them if they
Well,
had more
to
personality.
to be fair, we were talking early 2000s, but Braun Strowman is a perfect example of, wow, they really like this guy and they don't know what the fuck to do with him.
Yeah, and
There
it's
is
sad
there is
because
no part of Braun Strowman's career that you can look to and say that's when it was hit. Like
yeah,
he was the guy. He had the Universal title. I would say with the Wyatt family was probably when he first showed up, but it wasn't him. It was just the Wyatt family had a new guy. And what's
yeah,
this guy who's bigger than everyone gonna do?
but
But the roaring, dude, one of my biggest Braun Strowman pet peeves was when he would do that shoulder tackle, but he would have to do a whole lap around the ring.
mhm.
I'm
I hate
sorry,
that.
unless you can run like Brock Lesnar and look like a gorilla.
Yeah,
Because Braun Strowman, I mean, I'm not a runner, I'm not an athlete, but that's what I look like.
yeah.
No, you need to
Um,
fly like King Kong, beating up the dinosaurs, jumping
yeah.
off of mountains and shit. That's what I
I
want to
hate that.
see.
I hate when Braun Breaker does it. I hate when Roman Reigns would do it. Like, why? Why are you running around in circles? Um, but
And
then
someone needs to screw in that barricade. Just that
yeah,
one.
but even dude, talk about big men missed opportunities that they just didn't know what to do with. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan in general. I mean, Eric Rowan. Listen, I don't know. We've never really seen Eric Rowan's potential of what they're doing outside in WWE outside of the character that he is with the Wyatt family, right? He never really he had his one little go around with, a singles run, and then they instantly put him in the team against Luke Harper, and then he's back with um Bray Wyatt anyway. And
Yeah,
then
the
he's back
Bludgeon
and thrown into the
Brothers.
Bludgeon Brothers.
Yep.
Meanwhile, God rest his soul. Brody Lee had so much potential. There was so much there you could have done with that guy. Phenomenal athlete for his size. Arguably one of my favorite Intercontinental Championship runs in my lifetime was his. Him and Dolph Ziggler put on great matches together in WWE. Um, but you know fell victim of being a big guy that you don't know what to do with after so you just throw him somewhere. Gene Snitsky just came to my mind too. Phenomenal guy, has so much personality outside of the ring. They had no idea what to do with him after he kicked that fake baby.
I mean, they gave him that one line that he's still milking.
Yeah,
It wasn't his
Mike
fault.
Knox, another one. I was just thinking of Mike Knox. They literally did an angle where Mike Knox was so forgettable that Shawn Michaels had no idea who he was. Yeah. Tyson Tomko, we're talking about Christian.
Dude,
Another
Tyson
one.
Tomko.
Yeah.
Tyson Tomko is the guy who most closely looks like a generic SmackDown versus Raw creator wrestler.
Yeah.
Tribal
And
tattoos, the whole thing.
looking at it even more, right? Um and I was just going through like a list right now of big guys. I'm really going through a list of the Ruthless Aggression era. And the big name we forgot too, that you just don't know what to do with him. So you throw him, you make him a new member of one of the greatest tag teams of all time, John Heidenreich.
Dude,
I
I
don't
was
know
gonna
what to
say
do with him.
Heidenreich.
We have Road Warrior Animal here. We have this guy over here. He looks like he would look good in face paint. Let's make him a Road Warrior.
You know, the whole 1930s German gimmick isn't really working, so let's just throw him in the
Yeah, but listen, that guy was, there was a lot of potential with that guy too.
Dude,
Um,
Heidenreich was a bad man. He had those red gloves on. I wouldn't want to fuck with
yeah,
Heidenreich.
nope. Um, this Wikipedia article that I found of, looking up names of people from the Ruthless Aggression era, they describe Heidenreich, insane poet, turned into Road Warrior Animal's new partner in Legion of Doom.
And that's
Okay,
about it.
yeah,
Actually, I need to correct myself because I don't want to call Heidenreich fake Nazi. It was actually Gunther's name change that was going to be the fake Nazi, named after a
yeah,
real Nazi.
yeah.
If you guys don't remember that, go look up what Gunther's name was going to be before they were like,
Sure.
you don't have a last name. That's it. But
But I don't know, buddy. I will see what happens. I'm just we the day is October 13th of 2025, and I am saying today is what marked Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker at WrestleMania. Um, where Braun Breaker stands tall.
reason number two why I don't need to get a WrestleMania ticket.
Nope. The main events of WrestleMania this year are going to be Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, and then Cody Rhodes and CM Punk.
Okay. You heard it here first.
Yep,
That episode flew by, buddy.
it did.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will get back to you in a couple of days with more of what we do. So make sure you follow us everywhere, HITFPOD. Special future shout out to whoever our 400th TikTok follower is. We're at
Yeah,
399. So go follow us there. Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. All that shit. All right, buddy.
boom.
Anything else?
No, feel better,
Alrighty.
man. That was
I'm
it.
gonna try. I'm gonna go eat some chili. Lock myself.
Ooh, I know I gotta cook dinner.
All right, pal. Take it easy.
Later, buddy.